been a series of surprises. A series even at 2 apiece. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert with Steve Kerr and Craig Sager had a magnificent series, both offensively and defensively, who had strong performances in games 1 and 2, has struggled the last two. Dick Pavetta, Jack Neese, and Scott Foster as Ben Gordon of the Bulls controlled the opening tip.
Well, Marv, keys for Chicago tonight. They have to take care of the basketball. Turnovers, such a factor, especially on the road. And right away, Sweetney with the travel.
And as a subplot to this series, Miami Steve's been hit with suspensions to 2 of their players, plus that on-court argument in full view of those in attendance the other day in a national TV audience. Is this a team that has lost its composure?
I think they have, Marv. The facts speak for themselves. There's a 3-second call, I believe, or an offensive foul. And is that called on? I guess it's Wade. It's not Shaq. But there's no question they've lost their composure. And what Miami has to realize, Marv, is that to win a championship, I mean, you go through so much stress and anxiety, but you have to play composed. Sweetney, first jumper, you have to be composed. You have to play with integrity. You have to trust each other. And this is all part of the process. I mean, these types of challenges that the Bulls are throwing up are nothing new to any team that's trying to win a championship.
And now if they go on and win the series, people will say, hey, it's their feistiness that brought them together. Here's Walker for 3. And the rebound is handled by Allen. Now, if the Bulls pull off an upset, the feeling will be it was a total meltdown by Miami. Ben Gordon rebounded by Shaq, took it away from Sweetney, and last touch by the Bulls.
Yeah, the final score usually dictates the story afterwards. There's no question. So people will interpret Miami's behavior different ways depending on the outcome of this series. But regardless of all that, Marv, I think this game and this series comes down to one guy, and that's Shaquille O'Neal. If he's out on the floor causing problems, as Haslam ties the game at 2, if Shaq is there for Miami, it changes everything for Chicago's defense, and Miami has the advantage in what is, in effect, a 3-game series now.
And as Gordon made his move, he stepped out of bounds. So the ball back to Miami. And the lack of Miami's energy level has been a huge factor, including Shaquille O'Neal.
I thought game 3 he really came out very lethargically. His defensive rotations were slow. He never got into the game in game 3, and then game 4 he was frustrated with that foul trouble so quickly. So I look for him tonight to try to establish himself right away.
And as you say that, that's exactly what he does. O'Neal off the good entry pass, able to take it to the hoop. And there's no question that as Malik Allen is able to convert on the follow, that Scott Skiles is looking to go right at Shaq at the start. Michael Sweetney with his 3rd attempt here, and we're 2 minutes in.
That's a good strategy. You know Shaq's going to be a little gun shy.
The alley-oop for Dwayne Wade. So Miami has opened up very strong. They now lead it 6-4. And they've come out showing energy here at the start. Nocioni is fouled, hit hard, as he goes sliding into the photographer's area. Nocioni to the line. The foul is on O'Neal.
A beautiful set play here for Miami as the Chicago defense falls asleep on the weak side. And how about Nocioni? Watch the cut to the basket. So good without the ball. And this is a staple of the Argentinian Olympic team that won the gold medal in 2004. Movement without the ball, away from the ball. It's also something that Scott Skiles preaches with his offense, and you see his numbers in game 4. It's been a terrific series for Andres Nocioni.
Well, he started out 18 and 16 in game 1. How about 13 of 15 from the field in game 2? A career high 30 points. 19 and 9 here in Miami, and you saw the numbers in game 4.
It's fun to see this young Bulls team really growing up. Not only Nocioni, but Heinrich and Gordon. I mean, this is a crew that is really starting to believe in itself.
Wade rebounded by O'Neal, and Nocioni got him from behind. Andres Nocioni trying to help out. Called for the foul, so Shaquille O'Neal will go to the line, and Shaq is back to having his problems at the foul line. 0 for 6 from the line in Game 3 in Chicago.
I don't think it'll bother him, though. This has been a problem for Shaq his entire career. I think the big thing for him is to establish himself early, stay out of foul trouble, just be on the floor, because it alters what Chicago has to do defensively on every possession. And just his mere presence makes Chicago have to race out to three-point shooters. It creates openings for Shaq's teammates. And even with the missed free throws, he's just such an enormous presence, literally and figuratively.
Although in talking with Scott Skiles earlier, he said he will have to consider whether to go to hack a Shaq. Talking about late first half and certainly at the end of the game if that comes into play.
He said they have not employed it yet in the series, but it's certainly something they will consider should the right circumstances arise.
Here is Heinrich for 3. And it's handled by Haslem. Game tied at 6, 3 minutes in. Wade lost the handle. Heinrich able to reach in. Heinrich on the run. Heinrich with a beautiful crossover. Wade got back and got a piece of it. And Haslem on the save, called for time.
Boy, a couple of terrific plays. First by Heinrich on one end, and then Wade at the other, racing back. That was an amazing display of defense by both players. Watch Heinrich. He's done this all series. He's pestered Wade. He's chased him. He hasn't given up. But speaking of not quit,
urging, Miami on. Surrey's tied at 2. This is Game 5. Game 6 will take place in Chicago Thursday night and right here on TNT. Wade went behind the back. Wade, Heinrich really gives him a tough time, but O'Neal is on it and draws the foul again.
And I love what Shaq's done here early, Marv. He's stayed patient when he has received the ball on the block, knowing that he's prone to those offensive fouls, but he's really made a point of hitting the offensive boards, and you see the free throw troubles, but to Shaq's credit, that's not stopped him tonight from continuing to attack early on.
Tyson Chandler coming on now for Michael Sweetney. Tyson, a question mark, sprained his right ankle Sunday. Game 4 in Chicago with 26 seconds left and had to be carried off the floor. It was called a mild to moderate spread, and Shaq ends the 0 for 9 streak. Although Tyson says it's more his Achilles and the front of his foot. But he's been a factor. Has not done it, obviously, at the offensive end. And he's been in foul trouble. But the Bulls need him for his rebounding, shot blocking, and just for his presence against O'Neal.
Well, he's their best option against Shaq. And that's one of the reasons Skiles doesn't start him. He doesn't want him to get in early foul trouble. So Chandler will play 20, 25 minutes. And hopefully for the Bulls, be there late in the game to guard Shaq.
Shot clock down to 5. Shaq jumping out at Gordon. Allen, nice fake on Walker, and is rejected by O'Neal. 24-second violation.
And that's the type of defense that Shaq can provide. Remember Game 1, he had 5 blocks. Look at the ball fake that gets Walker up in the air, but when you've got the big fella behind you, you know you can afford to take a few gambles. And terrific court awareness from Shaquille O'Neal.
4 minutes gone by here in the first. O'Neal with a drop step, and we'll head back to the line. The foul is called on Chandler. Take a look at all-time playoff rankings. Shaquille O'Neal well represented in a host of categories.
No, he's one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant, big men in NBA history. He's not what he was a few years ago, but still poses so many problems for the defense. And I think what you see these days is on the nights when he is locked in and focused, and I think tonight will be one of those nights, he can revert back to the form that made him the best player in the game for the last 10, 12 years.
Well kept alive. Haslem had it knocked aside, but Miami can reset. The Heat up by 2. O'Neal off the double. There's Jason Williams for 3. Oh, Shaq reaching for it. Shaq is fouled. The Bulls looking for a traveling violation, but obviously Shaquille O'Neal has set the tone here at the start. Chris Duhan, who was just checked in, came over trying to help call for the foul.
This is something that Pat Riley preached before the series started. He said, we have to get Shaq on the boards. You see, he does get away with a walk. I think the Bulls were correct, but you have to love his activity, Marv. Just the fact that he's making his presence felt, and he's forcing a couple of Chicago Bull players to run over and box him out. So he's drawing a lot of attention. And already tonight, you see 7 free throw attempts for Miami. All 7 coming from Shaq. Just 5 the entire game 4.
Yes, the Heat upset about the disparity of foul calls. The other day, 31 personals on Miami, only 17 on Chicago. Bulls went to the line 31 times. The Heat only 5.
But to Pat Riley's credit, he gave Chicago the credit they deserved. He said they attacked us. They were the aggressor. We didn't deserve anything from the refs.
Malik Allen able to knock it down. Pat Riley saying no excuses. We just didn't play well.
And he's right. You know, I don't understand why people can say that that's the refs. I mean, maybe a few calls go against them, but come on. What does that mean? Maybe they would have shot 10 free throws instead of 5?
Here is Haslam. And as O'Neal battled with Chandler again, the foul on Chandler. That's his second.
It looked like Chandler had inside position, but you see his arm hooked around O'Neal. That's what Jack Neese saw. Questionable call there. If you're a Bulls fan, you got to be upset with that one. Chandler had inside position. Scott Skiles showing great patience on the sideline, not throwing up much of an argument. So that's a questionable one there that leads to Chandler's second foul and his exit.
Andres Nocioni is back, coming on for Tyson Chandler. Bulls over the foul limit. Shaquille O'Neal has picked up all 5 of Chicago's fouls. Shaq is 2 of 8 at the free throw line. This time he went to the line drive. And you can hear the crowd buzzing, discussing the free throw style of Shaquille O'Neal.
You know, it's painful for everybody to watch. It's obviously painful for Shaq to go through it. You know, but what he has to remember is even just getting to the line is important. Even if he's not making them, he's putting the Bulls defenders in foul trouble. And here we go. There's another foul. I believe this is on Nocioni. And because of it's a lane violation. But because of the foul trouble, you know, Miami's going to be shooting free throws the rest of the way. They're also allowed to set their defense up and not let Chicago get into their transition. These are big factors.
Do over for Shaq, not able to take advantage. Score remains tied at 8. 6:45 remaining in this first quarter. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, and Craig Sager from Miami. As Heinrich makes his move, foul is called on Haslam. It's a block. And for the Heat, their second team foul. Miami won the first 2 games here in South Florida. The Bulls coming back strong in both games, but Miami held on to win, and the Bulls won both at the United Center in Chicago. Now Duhan and Heinrich in the backcourt. Nocioni is up front, along with Allen and Dang. Here's Heinrich. Has not been able to find the range, and back comes Williams. Jason Williams fires one that comes up short. Heinrich on the run. Miami does get back. And Dang goes right at O'Neal. Offensive foul.
Well, Pat Riley told his big man, he said, look, in games 3 and 4, you got caught in that circle too often. You've got to get outside the lane, and that's what he does. Gets outside the arc, and Dick Bavetta staring right at it. Now, the question whether he had position or not, that's questionable, but his feet were outside that line, and that's what the officials are looking at. So Shaq showing much better defensive alertness here tonight.
Antoine Walker posting up. The long arms of Dang changing that shot. And the ball was called out of bounds. So Chicago takes possession. First, a timeout. Just under 6 to go in this first quarter. Game is tied at 8.
Very well, and Shaq says he plans to take them home from the hospital tomorrow before flying with the team to Chicago. 8 pounds 1 ounce, that's healthy for a baby. And Marv, you may have been wondering how much the 330-pound Shaq himself weighed at birth.
Yes.
Surprisingly, just 7 pounds 4 ounces, which shows that sometimes big things come in little packages.
Let me write that down. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, how about the karma involved? Because just hours prior to that, Kobe Bryant's wife, Vanessa, had a child, baby daughter, Gianna, giving birth in Orange County, California. Haslam called on the foul, so Shaq's former teammate, Kobe Bryant.
That's it's kind of eerie. That's like a little Brooke Shields, Tom Cruise thing. The feuding stars and a couple hours apart. I don't know what it means, but it's a little eerie to me.
Steve never misses those Hollywood shows.
I read Us on the plane.
On the plane? As if to say, well, normally you wouldn't read it, but it just happened to be there.
Yeah, that's right. It's like guys saying they never read the papers,
Well, we know that is always nonsense.
Yes, that's right.
Alcione hits on both, and the Bulls now lead it 10-8. How about Shaquille O'Neal going to the free throw line 10 times in this first quarter? That has already equaled a Heat franchise record as Wade draws the foul, took the hit. Lamar Odom with 10 free throws in a quarter for Miami back in May of 2004. And Shaquille has already tied it, and we still have 5.5 minutes remaining in this opening quarter.
I think Shaq has shown so much more activity early on. You saw the early offensive boards. He jumps out quicker defensively tonight than he did in games 3 and 4. So just the activity, the energy that he's bringing tonight is getting him to the foul line. But if you're Scott Skiles, you have to be relieved. I mean, you actually have a 1-point lead despite all these fouls. And Skiles talked before the game about the importance of withstanding the onslaught, the early rush in front of the home crowd, and the Bulls have done just that.
Here's Ben Gordon. Rebounded by Antoine Walker. Jason Williams pushing it down. James Posey just checked in. And here's Wade. Wade going baseline. Miami up by 2.
I like what they're doing, Marv. They're making the extra pass. They're attacking. They're not settling for long three-pointers. Remember, they took 26 shots from beyond the arc in Game 4, just 2 tonight.
Allen off the mark, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Chicago.
Now, this is the extra pass I'm talking about. Posey could have taken the 3, but you make the extra one, and that forces the Chicago defense to react, and nobody underneath because of the attention Shaq is drawing down there. So the easy dunk for Dwayne Wade.
Good ball movement by the Heat. Posey with Alcione and Posey landing on the Miami bench. James Posey back from that 1-game suspension for the hard hit on Kirk Heinrich. Final minutes of Game 3. Miami up now by 5. Allen, and he is fouled by Posey. Non-shooting foul. That's number 4 on the Heat. Miami in the midst of a 7-0 run, while the Bulls have hit only one of the last 7 shots. Here's Heinrich going high off glass. O'Neal came out, but the quick release on the scoop by Heinrich, bringing the Bulls within 3.
And a nice job by Malik Allen sealing off Shaq just long enough for Heinrich to get the shot over O'Neal.
Walker passed on a 3. Bad pass. Gordon picked it off. Here's Dang taking to the rim, and that will count. It's a goaltend. Ball knocked away by O'Neal.
And this is a huge part of Chicago's strategy in this series. When they get a steal or a turnover, run, because Shaquille O'Neal will not be under the basket. You see him trailing the play, just can't quite get there in time to get the block, and the goaltending is called. Chicago within 1.
Good job in cutting off Wade. Walker open for 3. Antoine Walker gives Miami a 4-point edge. Walker coming off a good game Sunday. 21 points in Chicago. Allen. O'Neal pops it down. Here comes Wade. Heinrich back. Walker. And it's put down by Wade. Wade's very active here in the first quarter.
He sure is. A two-man fast break. Scott Skiles is going to get a timeout. Basically, Walker and Wade, the only two Heat players getting out in transition, and they find a way to make it work.
Fans sport all white during a postseason. The concept began in Winnipeg back in 1985 during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Fans in the Winnipeg Arena took to wearing all white during Winnipeg Jets postseason games and continued the tradition up until the team left for Phoenix in 1996. Steve, a fascinating piece of information research by our staff, complete with video support. And for even more on this subject, let's go to Craig.
Well, Marv, all the fans have the best seats sitting down here below you. Also have access to the flagship lounges. It's been a tradition here in Miami that people eat dinner, then come out after the game started. But tonight, Pat Riley had a tape made, played 10 minutes before the game when the horn went off, advising everybody that, hey, the game's about to start. Finish your dinner and get out here and cheer this team on.
I like the way Craig says advising everyone. As Williams shoots the three, rebounded by Heinrich. I can hear Pat saying, get out of that room.
Yeah. And get your white shirt on.
It's Heinrich. Michael Doliak, who just came on for Shaquille O'Neal, holding down that rebound. Wade being played by Gordon. Here's Wade. Heinrich, and rather Nocioni, pulled it down. And now Gordon on the pullback, shooting over Posey. Rebounded by Walker.
Bulls just 0 of 3 from the three-point line. Now remember, they're shooting 45% in the series from beyond the arc. And Antoine Walker draws the foul.
Walker with a nice spin move. And there was contact. Dang picks up his second. Bulls have been over the limit for some time. So Antoine to the free throw line. A reminder, national coverage of the NBA playoffs will continue this week, Friday on ESPN. A pair of Game 6s featuring the Cavaliers and the Wizards, followed by the Spurs and the Kings. And the playoffs continue next Sunday with a doubleheader on ABC beginning at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now Chris Duhon returns for Luol Deng. Scott Skiles saying that they had quite a practice yesterday afternoon. He said his team was so focused during practice, it could have played a game last night. They're ready to go with Game 5 last night.
Well, they're sky high. I mean, they're coming off 2 big wins in the United Center, and before that, a couple of closely contested losses here as Wade comes up with a steal, but they're giving the Heat all they can handle.
Here's Wade. Beautiful move. And we're seeing a different Dwayne Wade here tonight. He has 10 points. He's hit 4 of 7 from the field. Another run for Miami. 8 unanswered. Gordon saw the opening, and he was fouled. Ben Gordon will go to the line.
Well, not only did Shaquille O'Neal come out with a little more energy, but Dwayne Wade has 2 tonight, Marv. Look at this move. Coming off the screening roll, going back in the same direction, and the layup over Sweetney. Wade with 10 points here early on, and coming off a couple of subpar games for him. I think he was embarrassed by the play of his teammates. He was embarrassed by the incident with Gary Payton, and clearly Dwayne Wade very focused here tonight.
Ben Gordon with his first point of the game. Sunday in Chicago, hit 4 threes at 23 points. Game 3, put up 24, bouncing back from that 5 of 16. And in Game 1, a breakout performance for Ben Gordon. 35 points, 5 from downtown, although Gary Payton did a nice job defensively on Gordon in the final minutes.
Well, remember before Game 2, Scott Skiles told us that he could tell right away whether Ben Gordon is going to be on or not. And he's 0 of 3 tonight, so you wonder, is this going to be one of those tough nights for Gordon? He doesn't normally get off to slow starts, but when he does, he struggles.
Duhon pushing it. A minute left in this opening quarter. Nocioni putting on the floor. Good defense here by Miami. Shot clock down to 4. Gordon with a runner. It counts, and the foul. Blocking foul will put Gordon at the line. What a shot by Ben Gordon, fouled by James Posey.
This is a perfect example of how difficult it is to cover Chicago after about 4 drives to the hoop.
Whoa.
A travel by Ben Gordon and the floater. But, you have to continually close out on all these Chicago offensive players. The Heat played tremendous defense for about 22 seconds, but eventually Gordon finds the seam and able to finish over the Heat defender.
An ovation for Alonzo Mourning as he checks in for the first time tonight, coming on for Michael Doleac. Alonzo sat out the first 2 games, still recovering from the calf injury. Played 8 minutes, game 3 in Chicago. Gordon completing a 3-point play. 14 minutes Sunday in game 4, but still working his way back.
He's been totally out of rhythm. You can see he's picked up some offensive fouls on screens. He hasn't been able to get anything going at the offensive end. You see the foul from Gordon, and now 2 free throws coming for Gary Payton. But, eventually, Marv, I think Alonzo Mourning will find his groove and find his rhythm. He needs to continue to play and try to continue to get out of that feeling he's had of really being out of it. Though that long layoff has really hurt him. You see the numbers. Just has not been able to break out.
He's been out since March the 22nd. Missed 16 games before returning in game 3. And a guy provided so much energy off the bench at the defensive end with block shots and rebounds during the regular season. So Payton, who just came on, hits a couple. Miami now leads by 6 as we come up on 30 seconds left in the first. Payton defending on Heinrich. Duhon got the step, and then the pass broken up by Mourning.
You see Mourning there. It reminds you that this is actually the first game of the series because of injuries and suspensions that Pat Riley has actually had his full roster available to him.
Bulls have 13 on the 24. Bella Harrington going up against the fellow Hoya, Alonzo Mourning. So Miami can hold for a final shot of this first quarter. Wade directs traffic. People forget about the long arms of Kirk Heinrich. You can see him reaching in, trying to deflect the ball. Now Wade gets it off, and that will not count. That came after the horn. To 19. Series tied at 2. We're looking at game 5, and Scott Skiles, the head coach of the Chicago Bulls, in his 3rd year as head man, taking over from Bill Cartwright. 19 of 47 in his first season. Last year turned things around. Here's Posey, and it's handled by Nocioni, then deflected out. Last touch by Nocioni.
Well, you saw the numbers when we were showing Skiles. 32% shooting in that first quarter for Chicago. Just 1 assist, 5 turnovers. I think in large part because of Miami's defense. They are sharper defensively than we've seen them all series long. They're closing out. They're helping each other. They just look much more active defensively tonight.
Payton and Wade in the backcourt. Mourning up front now with Posey and Walker. Mourning with a nice move. Stepping around Harrington.
Skiles is furious. He felt that Mourning may have walked on that spin move. Doesn't matter though. Heat by 8, threatening to pull away a little bit here. Chicago needs to get themselves going offensively.
Reach and foul on Antoine Walker.
I'll take a look at the Georgetown matchup. Harrington and Alonzo looked like very questionable. Could have been a walk. But, it's always easier to say during the replay. Those plays happen awfully quickly. Tough for the officials to see sometime. And here comes Udonis Haslem in for Antoine Walker.
Walker sits down with 4 points. Duhon will put it in play. Opening minute, second quarter. Marv Albert with Steve Kerr and Craig Sager. Look out. That was mishandled. And on the turnover, Miami gets it back.
turnover number 6 for Chicago. And we talked about that sharp practice they had last night. It is not carrying over here so far today.
Bulls with only 6 field goals, and as you mentioned, the 6 turnovers. There's Wade finding the opening, blocked from behind by Heinrich. Look at the speed of Duhan, chased by Peyton Duhan, able to score.
Boy, that was quick. He just put on a burst in speed to beat everybody to the ball.
The Heat lead is now 6. Wade sweeping his way to the baseline, and is fouled. Very deceptive move by Dwayne Wade, and Heinrich shaken up. Heinrich called on that foul.
Well, Dwayne Wade is doing a much better job of attacking the rim, Marvin. That makes it much more difficult to defend him. And you see Heinrich having to continually chase him towards the basket. Eventually you're going to take some blows, get some knees to the thighs, maybe roll that ankle. Wade putting a lot of pressure on Heinrich here early.
Heinrich will hobble back to the bench. And Luol Deng will come on. Heinrich just 1 of 5 here at the start. Scott Skiles doing quite a bit of shuffling, particularly at the center position. And now we'll send on the rookie, the 7'1" Luke Schenscher, replacing Fella Harrington. Let's check in with Craig.
Well, today, Dwayne Wade heard from his college coach, Tom Crean. Now, Tom Crean said, I didn't tell him anything that Pat Riley hasn't told, but perhaps it helps if he hears it from another voice. He said, let the game come to you. Make plays for your teammates. You're playing like there's a 50-pound weight on your shoulders. Get ready, have a positive attitude, play ball, and everything will be all right.
All right, thanks, Craig. That's exactly what we have seen thus far in this first half, and for some reason Wayne has struggled against the Bulls in his hometown of Chicago. Whoa, a rainbow from Ben Gordon.
Well, like Kobe's shot the other night at the end of Game 4 in Los Angeles, just floating it way up in the air.
Miami's lead is now 5. And in the second of our doubleheader offensive foul, it's away from the ball. Well, apparently they call it on Peyton.
Yeah, Ben Gordon was trying to pressure the ball, and Peyton just cleared him off with that offhand. And that's a call that you don't often get, but it was pretty blatant. And meanwhile, Ben Gordon starting to pick it up here. We've seen a couple of these running floaters tonight. This is such a difficult shot. I mean, look how high he has to throw it to get it over Alonzo Mourning. That's an attempt that requires so much touch. And he's right up there with Tony Parker, I think, in terms of being the best in the league at that shot.
Shaquille O'Neal is back in. There's another rainbow, but that was from way out. Rebounded by Schenscher, and he's able to score. Luke Schenscher did a nice job in a brief run in Game 3 in Chicago.
He played about 6.5 minutes, drew a couple of charges, made a bucket. He's done a nice job in limited minutes here.
Haslett. Rebounded by Dang. There's Nocioni with room. Bulls not hitting their shots here in the first half. Miami now leads by 3, yet Chicago able to hang in despite the fact they are just 9 for 24 from the field.
Nocioni 0 of 2, Heinrich 1 of 5, Gordon 2 of 6. So the big 3 struggling. So Chicago has to feel pretty good about where they are.
Here's O'Neal getting inside on Schenscher. What has hurt Miami, the 8 missed free throws by Shaquille O'Neal. 30-25 Miami. Duhan and Gordon at the guards with Dang, Nocioni, and Schenscher up front. Schenscher set the pick, and Gordon forced out by O'Neal. The foul is on Shaq. That's his second.
Well, the Bulls are going to continue to attack Shaq at the defensive end. Defenders laying over the big fella, and Wade now 4 of 9 from the field. You mentioned Shaq's 10 free throws. So despite the fact that it's only a 5-point game, or make no mistake about it, this is a Miami Heat type of game. I think they have the tempo and the style right where they want it.
Here's Dang. Posey with the rebound. Jason Williams has come on for Dwayne Wade. So Payton and Williams in the backcourt with Shaq up front along with Posey and Haslam. O'Neal being played by Schencher. Here's O'Neal way off. Good job gang rebounding by the Bulls. Nocioni. Yes. Andres Nocioni with his first field goal.
And a rare transition hoop, if you want to call that a fast break basket, kind of a semi-break situation, but that's what Chicago has to do. Run, get out, and take advantage of a retreating Miami defense.
Bulls down by just 3. And the officials check with each other. 3-second violation is called. Let's check in with Ernie Johnson back in our Atlanta studios. Ernie?
Yeah, Marv, Southwest Airlines game break to get you updated on Indiana and New Jersey. This third period action, and Richard Jefferson for 2 of his 18. Vince Carter has 28 through 3. It was a 7-point lead for the Nets going to the fourth quarter. 7-0 run to start the period, capped by Anthony Johnson right there. They are in a timeout, all tied up with 10:40 to go in the game.
All right, thank you, Ernie. Jason Williams able to knock it down. And congratulations to our studio show, winning a sports Emmy last night. Congrats to Ernie, Kenny, and Charles. Producers Tim Kiley, Howard Zalkowitz, director Steve Fiorello, executive producer Jeff Benke, the entire creative and technical crew. But Steve, you were saying earlier today you feel the creative and technical crew actually carry the show. Guys I mentioned basically show up. That is not right.
Well, that was supposed to stay private.
And Payton able to drill it. So Miami now leads by 7 with 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Here is Duhan for 3. The ball back to Miami. Let's check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Kirk Heinrich is back out of the locker room. He told Scott Skiles that he just came down on it wrong. He did not step on anybody's foot. He went and had it retaped. He says he feels fine and he's ready to go, but he's still on the bench resting.
All right, thank you, Craig. Meanwhile, Chicago 0 for 6 from beyond that three-point line.
They've made 33 three-pointers in the series, Mark. They've lived behind that line, so they're going to have to get it going tonight to really get their offense in rhythm.
And the foul is called. Ben Gordon raising his hand. However, Scott Foster saying, no, it's not on you, Ben. It's number 3 on Tyson Chandler.
Boy, he's barely had a chance to check in and break a sweat, Tyson Chandler, and you wonder if that injury isn't bothering his lateral quickness, maybe his timing. We saw that with Alonzo Mourning in Game 3. Anytime you're a little out of whack physically, it's tough to get yourself going in the game.
Michael Sweetney comes back, replacing Tyson Chandler. Here's Payton for 3. Rebounded by Sweetney. Good hands by Sweetney. Dang on the move. Nice feed. Nocioni rejected by Posey. And a traveling violation.
If you read lips, you know that Scott Skiles is not happy with this one. A nice 3-on-2 break, the feed from Deng, and watch the block coming from the weak side from Haslam. And on the offensive board, you don't get a chance to see what happens. I think he said that's not a travel, that's not a block, something.
Something to that effect.
Something to that
yes.
effect. But, you know, Marv, I'm going to repeat this. Miami's defense sharper than at any point in this series. You got guys flying to the ball. They're helping each other. They're recovering. They're making life very difficult for Chicago now.
O'Neal with the spin. Nice play by Sweetney. He saw that coming. Just took it out of the hands of O'Neal. And it carried out of bounds. It will be Miami ball. A timeout taken.
And you continue to press on. And it's a journey, a 2-month journey to win a championship filled with frustration. Williams can't get the 3 to go with the shot clock going down. There's a foul on Haslam. But
well, we do know that Dwayne Wade and Gary Payton are relating to each other during the pregame warm-ups. chatter.
They're fine. I don't think it's a huge issue, but I do think that, for a team to win a title, Marv, they have to do it with character. They have to learn to trust each other and play together and fight through. I mean, this is all a process. There's so many sleepless nights and so much anxiety and pressure and stress, but you have to deal with it for a long time.
And a blocking foul on Miami. That foul a moment ago on Haslam, his third. And now the foul on O'Neal, and that's number 3.
Now, this has been the story of the series for Shaq. He's kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time. Can't quite get out of that circle. And this is where I think you see the age wearing on O'Neal more than at any other time. His lateral speed and his ability to react defensively is not what it once was, and as a result, he's frequently put in a compromising defensive position.
And Riley has to post Shaquille O'Neal. Alonzo Mourning will check in, and we'll check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Pat Riley went through every foul that's been called on Shaq in this series so far and showed every one of them to Shaq. He emphasized you have to stay out of that restricted area because if you're the help defender, they're going to call it on you. They went through every tape, and then they had another problem, and that is right here, that Shaq's feet are so big that it has to take an extra step for him to get outside the restricted area, which slows him down getting back in. So if Pat Riley was serious, he gets his big feet make it even more difficult.
That's a good point.
That's a new twist, yes.
I mean, you figure he's got about double the shoe size than a lot of these guys, so he's got to take an extra step to get outside that arc.
But, of course, there are other big guys in the NBA. Not quite the size of Shaquille O'Neal, but they have their problems.
Yeah, but I do think it's more a fact of just age and the fact that he's got years of wear and tear on that body. He's just not as quick as he once was.
Oh, way behind the back. What a play to set it up for Mourning. The Bulls have been scoreless the last 3 minutes. So 6 unanswered now by Miami, and apparently a problem with the clock.
Oh, this is ridiculous, Marv. Watch this move. The split of the double team and around the back, around 2 Bulls defenders. Another look. Where does he find Mourning with all those guys in front of him? And Alonzo finishes a spectacular play.
And at the other end, Mourning is called for a foul, puts Miami over the limit. So Michael Sweetney with his 3rd point. But as well as the Heat have played here in the first half, the lead is only 7.
But I think Riley's got to be thrilled because they've finally corralled this Bulls offense. I mean, remember the totals in games 1 and 2. Chicago was scoring at will. Both teams up over 100 points. And you look at the 36-29 advantage now. It's a tempo that I think Miami's pretty happy with.
Here's Wade over Heinrich. Kurt Heinrich back on the floor. Looks to be moving all right. Played by Williams. Sweetney working on Mourning, and Mourning swats it aside. Block shot by Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo Mourning, a guy who's had a big impact on Michael Sweetney. He used to school Sweetney during exhausting summer workouts at Georgetown, where they play their college ball about 10 years apart. Look out, Heinrich lost his footing. Shot clock down to 5. Here's Dang off balance and scores.
Beautiful move by Dang. We talk about those Georgetown workouts, Mark. Patrick Ewing used to be a part of those. Othella Harrington. You got to figure these guys know each other awfully well. And I'm sure Mourning is just waiting for some of those moves from Sweetney.
Here's Walker for 3. Fielded by Nocioni. Look out, knocked aside. Nocioni wanted a foul, but deflected out by the Heat. 4:10 left in the first half, and the Heat up 36-31. First of our TNT doubleheader, Lakers and Suns from Phoenix. Coming up next, it'll be Game 5. Lakers up 3-1. The season on the line. for the Suns following that dramatic overtime win by Kobe Bryant of the Lakers on Sunday. Heinrich not able to hit, tipped home by Sweetney. What a move by Michael Sweetney.
Pretty amazing, Marv. I mean, you mentioned it, that Chicago's within 3, considering they're shooting 35%, but they're competing. This is what they do. They just hang around. They play hard every single game, and that's why this has become such an interesting series.
Here's Wade. Good job by Heinrich. Wade had nowhere to go, and that's an unusual shot for Wade.
A tough shot for anyone. Heinrich and the Bulls will live with that all night long, but Wade's going to make it. Look out.
Dang's pass was blocked. And Scott Foster over to Dick Bavetta to discuss the play. Scott says, I will take it. Let's see what the call is here.
Well, it looked like Dang got his shot blocked by the backboard. I don't think Mourning got a piece of it on the original shot. You take a look, and Mourning blocks it after the fact. The question is it out of bounds by the time Dang hits it? Looked to me like that should have been Miami ball, but we didn't get a chance to see Dang's feet, whether they were out of bounds or not.
And now we're told it was an inadvertent whistle. So Chicago maintains possession. Sweetney showing confidence against Alonzo Mourning. And an offensive foul on Mourning, looking for position against Sweetney.
That could have been a 3-second call too. Mourning just camped in the lane. Sweetney hanging all over him. This is what Alonzo used to do in his glory years, run right to the front of the rim and post up. But when the entrance pass doesn't come in, then all of a sudden the focus is on Mourning and the offensive foul.
So the Bulls called for time. There's that shot we were talking about. Dwayne Wade played very well by Kirk Heinrich. Goes off 1 foot to put it. We have 3:11 remaining in the first half. Miami up by 5. There was a disputed play that took place a moment ago at the Chicago end, and one of the great officials in the history of the game, Dick Bavetta, so kind to always come over to the broadcast table and explain what took place.
This is why players love him too, because he'll talk to you. You can communicate with him, and he explained to us that there was an inadvertent whistle before Dang fell out of bounds. That's why Chicago got the ball back.
Now Dang from long range, knocked out of bounds by Sweetney. This is game 5 of the best of 7 Eastern Conference opening round series. Bulls and Heat 2 apiece. Miami won the first 2 here at home. Bulls came back strong in both games, but the Heat held on, and the Bulls won the 2 games in Chicago. Wade got the step, and Sweetney with the block shot, and Wade is hurt. Wade is down. Here's Nocioni for the reverse, yes, and the foul, and Dwayne Wade is shaken up as Miami Athletic trainer Ron Culp out to take a look.
Oh, this is a potentially disastrous sequence of events for Miami, beginning, of course, with the injury to Wade, if it is indeed serious, and then it leads to a foul at the other end for Alonzo Mourning. And now Shaq and Zoe each with 3. Take a look. He thinks he's got a dunk. Sweetney goes up with him. And he falls hard on that hip, holding his hamstring, looks like.
And it was a clean play. It's the way Wade came down. It was blocked shot by Sweetney.
Yeah, that crowd doesn't like it, but looked like a good block.
A timeout with 2:35 remaining in this first half. Miami up by 3. Craig Sager will have a report in a moment. Remember, Dwayne injured a rib muscle in Game 5 of last season's Eastern Conference Final Series against Detroit. Although the Heat won Game 5, Wade sat out the Game 6 loss in Detroit. And while Dwayne was able to play in Game 7, he clearly was subpar from a physical standpoint. Made only 7 of 20 from the field, and this is what happened just a moment ago.
Cruel irony if you're a Miami fan. You can make the case that this Heat roster would not exist if Wade hadn't been injured a year ago against the Pistons. Perhaps they would have won the series, gone on to the finals, and maybe Antoine Walker, Jason Williams, James Posey, maybe they wouldn't wear Heat uniforms, but it is what it is, and Miami now has to go on without Wade.
Stan Van Gundy is the head coach. Miami went to that 7th and final game against the Detroit Pistons, and with Wade playing hurt, lost to the Pistons.
And here they are, Williams, Posey, Walker, without Wade. This is why they were brought here. They've got to make plays and create offense for the Heat.
Walker fired it up, rebounded by Sweetney. So Chicago within 2 as we approach 2 minutes left in the first half. Marv Albert with Steve Kerr and Craig Sager from Miami. Here's Gordon for 3. Sweetney with another rebound. And they have a new shot clock. Eric Piatkowski has come on for the first time. So Piatkowski, Heinrich, and Gordon in a 3-guard set. That's a traveling violation on Andres Nocioni. So Miami gets it back. We'll check in with Ernie back in our Atlanta studios.
Southwest Airlines. Well, that's enough. Back to Marv.
Thank you, Ernie. Jason Williams drawing the foul. And he'll shoot 2. Nocioni picking up his second. So Miami's lead is down to 2. Jason Williams, very productive first 3 games of the series. And had his difficulties in game 4 on Sunday. Just 1 of 9 from the field. Missed all 4 of his 3-point attempts. He'd been averaging, as you saw, just under 19 a game the first 3.
And just 1 of 5 here tonight. And I think it's a clear result of Shaq's ineffectiveness and foul trouble, because in the first 2 games, he was playing off of Shaq, allowing those double teams to happen, and then really attacking that Bulls defense when they were in recovery. But without Shaq, Chicago's been able to do a good job staying in front of Jason Williams.
And Shaquille O'Neal on the bench right now with 3 fouls. Michael Doliak is at the center position. 5 on the shot clock. Derek Anderson just came on, took it away from Malik Allen. Nice give and go. Walker rejected by Allen. Crowd wanted a foul. Heinrich. Nice play. Heinrich to Sweetney. What a first half for Michael Sweetney. He has 8 points, 6 rebounds. And he has come on during this playoff series. Had his ups and downs during the regular campaign. Was in the starting lineup at the beginning of the season. Then was inactive for a long period of time. Had a weight problem. Scott Skiles kept him out, and then he worked his way back in the final portion of the regular season. Nice move by Gordon, and Walker came over for the block. We're down to 35 seconds left in the half. Here's Walker for 3. Good job by Piatkowski boxing out Doliak. Miami up by 2, 25 seconds left in the first half, and there is a 5-second differential between the game clock and shot clock.
Well, remember the 3-point shooting barrage by both teams in games 1 and 2. Well, they're a combined 2 of 18 so far tonight.
And Dick Pavetta calling it on the Bulls. Offensive foul. Foul on Sweetney. That's his second. Miami gets it back with 11 seconds left in this first half. A fella Harrington will come on for Michael Sweetney. We're still waiting word on the status of Dwayne Wade. Taken to the locker room after hitting the floor hard as his shot was blocked. It was Posey. Too late. He took that pump fake and it caught.
Well, the Bulls shooting just 34%. As Kenny Smith alluded to at halftime, they're letting him drive the lanes. They need to rotate, pursue, and cut off those lanes.
Mark. All right, Craig, and Gary Payton starting the second half with the injured Dwayne Wade. So Payton and Jason Williams in the backcourt. Antoine Walker just 1 of 8 from the field in the first half. Payton with the shot with just 1 on the 24. Sweetney able to reach for it.
Solid defense from Chicago. Scott Skiles talked about the importance of closing out on the double team of Shaquille O'Neal. Every Bull player on the perimeter did just that.
Sweetney showing confidence, and the game is tied at 4.
He thought he was fouled on the original play, turned to confirm the ball was right back in his hands.
And see this Miami came out with much energy, in particular Shaquille O'Neal, who is fouled, hit the deck. And Shaq has had his difficulties at the line. He is just 2 of 10 at the free throw line. Now look at tonight's Heat game summary.
Very strange first half, Mark, given what we've seen most of this series with explosive shooting. You look at the combined three-point field goals, 2 of 18. The free throws for Miami, an advantage in the attempts, but Shaquille just 2 of 10 on his own. So a different look from what we've seen in the first 4 games of this series. And if you're Scott Skiles and the Bulls, wow, this is a golden opportunity here with Dwayne Wade out of the game and Shaq in foul trouble.
Shaq shot just 46% at the line during the regular season. That's a career low. Got to change up on that second shot. 2 of 12 from the foul line. Game tied at 42. Malik Allen, formerly of the Miami Heat, on the rebound. And you hear the reaction from the crowd as Allen was able to hustle it down. Heinrich. Here's Gordon. Give it up. Allen. Nice move. And Chicago has the lead. They're on top for the first time since the early moments. 2.5 gone by in the third. Walker for 3. He's been off. Rebounded by O'Neal. And they have another possession. Here's Walker putting on the floor and throws the foul.
Well, if you're Chicago, you have to lay off Antoine Walker now. You got to get a hand up, but you've got to play him for the drive. He's a very, very streaky shooter. When he's cold, he normally stays cold. He's 1 of 9 tonight, 1 of 2 from the foul line. He's a guy that you've got to keep out of the lane now. Don't let him get anything easy. Make him find his rhythm from 24 feet. That's a very difficult thing to do.
Foul charge to Heinrich, his second. Antoine Walker had a good game on Sunday. 21 points, 5 from downtown. It's 1 of 2 at the line, so Chicago maintains a 1-point lead. Game 6 of this series back in Chicago on Thursday night. Dick Pavetta indicating an offensive foul. So Miami gets it back. Foul on Nocioni, that is his third. Pat Riley opens with Jason Williams and Gary Payton in the backcourt. Shaquille O'Neal, Antoine Walker, and Udonis Haslem up front. Walker, they'll try to take it to the rim. He's been on the attack here at the start of the third.
And I like what he's done the last 2 possessions. Don't just settle for long threes. Attack the rim. Find your rhythm closer to the basket. Get something going.
Heinrich, he thought it was fouled. Able to drill it. The Bulls back up by 1. Heinrich has not shot well. Just 2 of 7 from the field. There's Payton. Rejected. Sweetney got a hand on it. Haslem is back. Gordon to the pull-up.
exactly what he needs to do. When that outside jumper is not going, attack, get to the rim, find a couple of easy hoops. That's exactly what he's done.
Malik Allen on that foul. Walker not able to complete the three-point play. His last two free throws. But Miami now leads 47-46. 4 minutes gone by in the third. Shot clock down to 6. Nocioni for 3. Yes. Andres Nocioni with the Bulls' first three-pointer of the night.
Pretty amazing. We've talked about how much they've really been on fire from that three-point line. So look out if they can get it going, because they've got their defense all lined up now. Remember, #1 field goal percentage defensive team in the NBA, and they're making things very difficult for Shaq and his teammates.
Here's Shaq with a drop step. Shaquille O'Neal has converted 4 of 5 from the field. He's tied it at 49. And Payton reaching in as Gordon got the step. Foul called on Payton.
Well, Marv, I thought Shaq had the correct approach coming into tonight. He was very active. He was aggressive around the basket, but the missed free throws and then the foul trouble kept him from really exploding. And he looks like he's very comfortable now. 4 of 5 from the field. And you see the 8 boards.
Here's Luol Deng replacing Malik Allen. For those who may have just tuned in, Miami without Dwayne Wade. 5 minutes for the first half. Rebounded by Stevens. And Pat Riley in the over to his bench. That is 4 on O'Neal.
This is how so many of O'Neal's fouls have come in this series. You take a look at after Heinrich attacks the rim, and Sweetie maybe with a little flop there. We heard Charles Barkley talk a little bit about how he's just been in the wrong position and that he's really received some cheap calls. I don't like that one. You know, this is the playoffs, and a little nudge maybe, but looked an awful lot like Sweetie just sort of took a dive.
Well, Miami will have to send out Alonzo Mourning, and once again, Shaquille O'Neal, who has not been able to stay on the floor, will take a seat. I started to say Dwayne Wade suffered a left hip contusion, as Craig Sager reported. Might be a hip pointer. X-rays were negative. His return is questionable.
And that is a very, very painful injury, like a deep bruise right in that hip area. When anytime an injury like that is on a joint, it really affects everything and every single movement you make as a player.
Bulls up by 2. Walker has been the offense, and he draws the foul. Nocioni came over to help, and Antoine Walker will head back to the line. Foul is on Deng. Combination of Deng and Nocioni contending with Antoine Walker. National coverage of the NBA playoffs continues this week, Friday on ESPN. A couple of Game 6s featuring the Cavaliers and the Wizards, followed by the Spurs and the Kings. And the playoffs continue next Sunday. Doubleheader on ABC starting 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 10 points for Walker. He's had a couple of field goals. He's spending time on the line here at the start of the third quarter. Not hitting his free throws. Nocioni able to get to the loose ball, and back comes Chicago with a 1-point lead and 6.5 to play in the third.
Foul trouble beginning to be a factor here, Marv. Both clubs have some issues as Sweetie goes to work on Mourning.
Michael Sweetie has a lot of confidence going against Alonzo Mourning, and it has to be the byproduct of facing him so frequently over the summer months.
And I think the confidence that he picked up with his great play in Game 4, Marv, he's starting to feel really good about his game, and couldn't have come at a better time with Chicago struggling from the perimeter.
Here's Posey with an air ball from downtown. Heinrich on the run. Nocioni over Walker. Yes! He had a foot on the line. It's a 2-pointer. The Bulls now lead by 5. And you can hear some boos from this crowd as Miami calls for time.
Now, this is a stunned crowd, Marvin. You see the Bulls bench on fire. They feel it right now. Wade out, Shaq on the bench in foul trouble. Bulls starting to pick up their defense, which leads to a transition hoop. This is getting very interesting.
During the timeout, Dwayne Wade made his way over to the Miami bench and has just checked in despite that painful left hip injury. And you saw the reaction from the crowd. Foul being called. Scott Foster indicating it's number 4 on Andres Nocioni. And Chicago over the foul limit. Antoine Walker back to the line. He is just 3 of 7 at the foul line. In fact, Miami 12 for 27 with Shaquille O'Neal. Only 2 of 12. And the problems continue. Let's go to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, what stands for as their negative? Dwayne Wade worked with athletic trainer Ron Culp and Dr. Harlan Selznick, doing whatever they could to get him back into the game. He received treatment from both, then started working out, moving up and down, came out and told Coach Pat Riley, you got to put me in because I can't sit and rest.
All right, Craig, and with Wade sitting out, the Bulls outscored the Heat 22-13. Chicago now leads by 4. 5.5 left in the third quarter. Here's Dang. Rebounded by Walker.
Well, in an effort to give Wade a rest, Mark, Pat Riley has put him on Luol Deng, not on Heinrich or Gordon, so he can hopefully, for Miami's sake, try to work his way back into this game without having to exert himself defensively.
And you look at him, he is in pain. And he's over on the wing, over at the left-hand corner, as Jason Williams handles and throw it away.
Well, you look at Wade and you think about when he actually had the injury in real time. It was close to an hour ago, probably. So it's going to take him a while. That's a very painful injury. It's going to take him a while to get going. The only thing he can do is try to work up a sweat and find some kind of a physical comfort zone.
Kept alive by Sweetney. Oh, and Gordon had that pass intended for Chandler, and Gordon upset. Tyson Chandler turned his head and was not expecting the pass.
Now, Gordon is upset, but that's his fault. I mean, that's Tyson Chandler. That's not somebody who's expecting a pass in that situation. Know your personnel.
On Wade handling for the first time since his return. Gets it to Walker. Good for, Morning travel. Won't count. Alonzo Mourning called for the traveling violation.
Well, he had terrific position inside. We talked about it earlier. That's what Alonzo did in his heyday with Miami. He'd run right to the front of the rim, post up, turn around and dunk on people. He can't do it quite as well these days. And that time, it's called for steps.
Heinrich tried to get it down low, but Sweetney lost his balance, so another Chicago turnover.
Well, this game has taken on such a different feel from those first couple of games down here in Miami when it was just racehorse basketball. This is more like a playoff game that we're accustomed to.
Here's Walker to the crossover, got the step, beautifully done. Antoine Walker. He is now the Miami offense. He's brought the Heat within 2.
Chicago has fallen asleep on Walker, Marv. They let him get right to the rim several times. Now he's back in his offensive groove.
Here's Heinrich. The tip missed by Chandler. Retrieved by Dang, who fires. He's had very tough luck on his shots. He's rimmed out several times. Wade with a change of pace, and he's bumped. And you can see that Dwayne not able to move very well. He's handling it very gingerly.
He moves well enough here to draw the foul from Sweetney, the crossover, and then he kind of creates the contact. That's a similar foul to the ones that Shaq has been picking up for Sweetney. A little late, sliding over, just in bad position, and Wade will go to the line.
Wade is 3 of 4 at the line. Now Luke Schecter will replace Michael Sweetney, who has new playoff career highs in points and rebounds. 14 points, 9 rebounds for Sweetney.
And how about Scott Skiles, Marvin? You talk about somebody who's confident in his bench. I mean, here we are in Game 5, late in the third quarter. We've got Piatkowski and Schencher out there, and I love it. I mean, these guys have grown accustomed to playing for Skiles. They know they have to be ready at any time. He's not afraid to use them.
Luke Schencher, 7'1" rookie from Georgia Tech, who was playing with Fort Worth in the D-League early this season. Gordon not able to hit, deflected out, last touch by the Bulls.
Great play by Alonzo Mourning, stepping over defensively to force Gordon into that high arcing attempt. And then a fortunate break for Miami with the ball going off of Chicago.
And Gordon now 2 of 12 from the field. Gary Payton has come on, replacing Jason Williams. Walker putting the move on Dang, and again draws the foul. Walker got the step on Dang. That's number 4 on Luol Deng. Antoine Walker back to the line. He's only 4 of 9 from the foul line.
But this has to drive Scott Skiles crazy, Marv, because the whole game plan was based around Shaquille O'Neal and his post-ups and the double teams and staying in front of Dwayne Wade. They didn't count on having to do much about Antoine Walker other than playing him straight up. His free throw struggles continue, but he has kept his club in the game with his aggressive play, and he's gotten himself back into rhythm. But Chicago has got to stay in front of him. He hasn't made an outside shot yet tonight. Force him to beat you from long range.
Walker's missed 5 foul shots this third quarter. Only 63% of the line during the season. It's been a difficult area for him. 54% last year. Miami just brutal at the foul line.
I'll bet if you put Antoine Walker at the line in practice, he probably makes 75 or 80%. It's such a mental thing, Marvin. It's been an issue for Walker the last few years of his career.
Chris Duhon is back on the floor. Here's Dang going behind the back. Dang is fouled. Beautiful move by Dang. Foul on Mourning. That's number 4. And a timeout is called.
We're averaging 69.3 points per game through the first 4 games of the series, but just 9 of 30 combined. Now, Nocioni actually playing pretty well. 5 of 8, got 5 of 7 free throws, but Heinrich and Gordon just have not been able to get the ball go into the hoop. 4 for 22 combined, 0 of 7 from three-point range. Scott Skiles has to wonder, how are we still in this thing?
Dang to the line of 75%. Free throw shooter Bulls without a point the last 3 minutes. And tonight, Miami should not have any complaints about the officiating. They have been to the line 33 times. That is 18 more than the Bulls. However, Miami not hitting their free throws, and Dang misses on both.
Well, it's become a battle of defense, Marvin. Both teams struggling to score. And we haven't really seen that in this series.
Walker passed on a 3. Posey for 3. Rebounded by Dang. Score remains tied at 55. 2.5 left in the third. It's game 5 of the best of 7. All square at 2. Game 6 at the United Center in Chicago on Thursday night. Duhon passed on a 3. Heinrich backs it up. Shot clock to 5. And the foul is called. Schencher called for the illegal fit.
Scott Skiles very upset with Chris Duhon. He's telling him, shoot the ball. He had Gary Payton off his feet in the corner on the pump fake. Tried to hit Heinrich, but Posey was not helping. Duhon was the one who had the look, but neglected to take the shot.
Payton and Wade at the guards. Doliak now with Walker, Posey up front. Here's Wade for the jumper. Dwayne Wade in severe pain. Hit the floor on the follow-through. Thought he was fouled. Miami leads by 2. Here's Heinrich. And he'll head to the line. He's upset with himself that he was not able to complete that drive.
Now take a look at Dwayne Wade, Marv, on this crossover move. He'll step back. I don't know if he stepped on Chris Duhon's foot but he came up holding his ankle. If it isn't one thing, it's another for Wade. And, you know, you start to think, what's this injury going to feel like tomorrow after a night where that thing is just going to get tight and sore? And these two teams have to fly up to Chicago and then play the next night. So very interesting to see how he'll respond in Game 6.
What I think, what Pat Riley is thinking, I got to play Wade here if he feels he can play. Pull this game out and don't worry about Game 6.
Yeah.
Perhaps even sit Wade out. We don't know the severity of the injury, and then have him ready for Game 7 if necessary.
Which is exactly what happened against Detroit last year, where he sat out that Game 6 up there.
Payton for 3. And on the back tap, handled by Duhan. Jankowski. Here's Deng for Fincher. And he draws the foul.
Boy, Bulls have had a couple of layup attempts while getting fouled. And yes, they're getting free throws, but those plays have to be finished. Both Heinrich and Sencher making, what was it?
Yes.
Sencher?
Sencher.
I tried.
Foul on Doliak. The good news is Schenzer at the line. The bad news, well, he banks it home. I was about to say the bad news during the regular season, and he appeared in only 20 games with limited playing time. He was 4 of 13, 30% at the line. So he hits 1 of 2.
You bank the first one in, forget about it on the second, Marv, because then you're nervous. You got to make the adjustment. You pull back a little bit. That had no chance of going in.
Bulls with a 1-point lead. Here's Wade. Rebounded by Posey. Swings in. It will count. And the foul. So Posey will head to the line for the first time as he looks for a 3-point play. We'll step away. Let's go to Ernie Johnson back in our Atlanta studios.
An advantage after 1. They lead by 6 early in the second. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Ernie. As you saw, Posey missed the free throw. Here's Heinrich up the step, and he is fouled from behind. Foul on Posey. Heinrich to the line with 52 seconds remaining in the third quarter. You can log on to NBA.com or AOL.com/NBA and check out TNT Overtime. You can download replays of Inside the NBA, playoff analysis, and TNT Courtside. Well, both teams struggling at the line. Heinrich misses his first.
And Chicago not really taking advantage of the fact that both Alonzo Mourning and Shaq are on the bench. Heinrich doing a nice job of penetrating against this Miami defense. Michael Doliak not really a shot blocker, so both doing the right thing, but they're just getting to the line. They're not converting field goals.
The game is tied at 59. Shaquille O'Neal continues to sit after picking up a fourth. Here's Wade. He tried to adjust. Sencher able to handle. Here's Heinrich in the open floor. Pulls it up. Yes. Kurt Heinrich has given the Bulls a 61-59 lead.
Well, remember in Game 2 down here in Miami, Marv, Heinrich was about 1 of 6, I think, going into the mid-third quarter range. And in late third and fourth, he caught fire. And all it takes sometimes is one jump shot. Heinrich very upset with the call on him right there. Apparently holding Gary Payton.
That's 3 on Heinrich. Before that jumper by Heinrich a moment ago, the Bulls had gone 5.5 minutes without a field goal.
But the point being with Heinrich, Marv, he gets the jumper to go, and for him in Game 2, that's all he needed was one basket to get that feel, to get that shooting stroke back. We'll see if he can catch fire now here in the fourth quarter.
Dwayne Wade made his return from that hip injury about halfway through this third quarter. Dwayne has looked as if he's in slow motion, but still has some pretty deceptive moves.
Yeah, a 50% Dwayne Wade is better than most guys in the NBA at 100%.
Game is tied at 61. Final seconds of the third. Heinrich keeps the dribble alive. Brown wanted a double dribble there. Can he get it off? It's a jump ball. Nice play as He was tied up by Payton.
I think it's been a much better defensive performance from Miami tonight. I know the Bulls have maybe missed some shots they normally make, but they've been more alert. They've been quicker on the perimeter. The Bulls are going to find their way to the hoop because that's what they do. But I think Miami has done a much better job moving their feet.
9/10 of a second remaining in the quarter. And time runs out. After 3 in this pivotal Game 5 of the best of 7, Miami and Chicago tied at 61. And I would think we will see
a lot less than that. I think Miami has to have this one given Wade's condition.
Shaquille O'Neal remaining on the bench here at the start of the fourth quarter. He has 4 fouls. Michael Goliak is at center. Heinrich with a nice pass, and it's knocked away. Beautiful play as Dang could not take it to the rim.
Great play by Walker, sliding over defensively and anticipating that move from Deng.
Wade met by Dang. Here's Wade. Beautiful shot. He's obviously playing at a different pace than we usually see from Dwayne Wade, but still able to free himself up for the touch, and he's given Miami a 2-point lead. Offensive foul on Chicago. That's number 5 on Sweetney.
Well, after the switch here between Deng and Heinrich, Wade goes to work. Keep in mind, Luol Deng, about 6'8", very long arms, stays in front of Wade, challenges the shot, did everything he could, and yet Wade still knocks it down.
Michael Sweetney sitting down after that 5th foul, replaced by Malik Allen. Opening minute, 4th quarter. Here's Payton. Goliak pops it out. Walker, forced 3. Rebounded by Piatkowski. Swinging the elbows. Just did miss making contact with Wade. Here's Heinrich. Posey on the rebound.
Well, Chicago just cannot make a shot tonight. Marvin, 37% shooting here.
And they've had good looks. Wade with the spin. That's a 3-point attempt again. Duhan. Goliak jumps out. He finds Allen. Here's Duhan with a runner. Posey able to get to it. And Payton checking with Pat Riley over at Miami bench. 2 minutes gone by on the 4th. Miami up by 2. Walker with the lead. Posey from Walker. That leads to a Bulls timeout. Since Dwayne Wade made his return from the hip injury, Miami has outscored Chicago to the tune of 15-6.
And we need him to play well.
And there is Shaquille O'Neal back on the floor after sitting for a while after picking up number 4, so he has not managed to stay out of foul trouble. A bad pass from Heinrich. That might have been tipped, though. So the ball back to the Heat. They lead it 65-61. We're early in the 4th.
Well, it hasn't been the kind of night that Shaquille O'Neal hoped for, but I think he did establish early on that he was going to be aggressive and alert. Gary Payton with the floater. And Miami has been much better defensively tonight. I think Shaq established that pretty early.
Bulls with just 1 field goal the last 8 minutes of play. 1 for the last 9. Miami up by 6. Nocioni trying to force it through, but O'Neal was right there.
For the Heat players just flying to the ball, Marvin. Those were plays where we saw it normally ended up in wide open looks throughout this series.
Here's the alley-oop. Wade combining with O'Neal. Miami extends to an 8-point lead. .80 run by the Heat. Shot clock Down to 5. Gordon to Allen. Malik Allen has been off. Payton played by Gordon. Trying to lose him on a screen. Walker not even looking for the shot. Wade going glass. What a performance by an injured Dwayne Wade. As he went back to the Miami bench, he saw Mourning coming to him and looked to avoid the body slam. Doesn't want to get hurt in that manner.
Now Miami taking control here early in the fourth. Shaquille O'Neal sat for so long, but almost immediately after he comes back, the lock and lob. This is something he and Scott Skiles used to hook up on frequently in O'Neal's early days in Orlando. And Dwayne Wade loves it. How about the play of Dwayne Wade, Marv, since the injury, coming back, providing energy. But still, it's been the defense of Miami tonight. Both just cannot find a basket. And you look at the numbers, Gordon and Heinrich a combined 5 of 24. Who's going to score for Chicago? Where are you going to find your points?
4 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Good job defensively again by Miami. Gordon from way downtown. Ben Gordon with a long 3.
Wow. Wow. Did they need that? Another terrific defensive possession for Miami. They were all over the place. They forced Gordon into about a 26-footer.
Miami up by 7. Now Walker shoots the 3. Nice back tap. Posey's done a good job. Miami with another possession. O'Neal around the rookie Spencer. 73-64 Heat. Gil O'Neal sat for 9 minutes after picking up a 4th foul. And Gordon lost it. Although Scott Foster may have had another point of view as he comes over to talk with Dick Pavetta and had the better angle. So he says no last touch by the Heat.
Well, this is a play where if you're Luke Sencher, I think you have to foul O'Neal as soon as he makes his move. He's 2 of 12 from the free throw line tonight. Alonzo loves it, but you just can't let Shaq get to the basket like that without fouling him.
And now Tyson Chandler being waved on. He'll replace Luke Sencher. Tyson Chandler a question mark because of that sprained ankle, but he has been on the floor. And Tyson Chandler just set an illegal pick. Offensive foul.
He may set a record here, too.
Whoa.
That is number 4 for Chandler in very, very limited action.
Miami back in possession. So the foul rundown. O'Neal, played by Chandler, gets it out to Wade. Nice give and go. No, a fake by O'Neal, not able to score. See Wade cutting, expected the pass, but Shaq held on to it. Heinrich, 4-3. Bulls from downtown, just 2 of 11. The Heat, 2 of 18.
Well, you always hear the cliche, you can't stay hot forever from outside, and it's never been more true than tonight for Chicago.
Wade draws the foul. Try to go to the left hand. Again, hit the floor, being helped up by Shaquille O'Neal. Foul on Chandler. That is number 5. Now Goliak checks back in. And let's see, apparently he's pulling O'Neal, but just for a moment. A defensive-offensive shuffle right here. Let's check in with Ernie Johnson back in Atlanta.
To close things out in the Valley of the Sun. That is game 2 of our doubleheader. Now back to Marv and the unsponsored Steve Kerr.
Sorry, Steve.
You let me get this straight. You put words in my mouth early in the game, and now Ernie's taking shots at me. I see how it works.
No, I think he would have picked.
Probably. Marv, how about Tyson Chandler tonight? That was his 5th foul. played 6 minutes. I mean, he never, ever was able to get himself in the game. Now he's on the bench. And that's probably going to be it for him.
Well, he's been in foul trouble throughout the series. Heel O'Neal over at the scorer's table as Pat Riley pulled him out. Michael Goliak reporting in, and Shaquille will return in a moment. Since Dwayne Wade came back following the hip injury, Miami has outscored Chicago 25-9. Nocioni for 3. So he's hit a couple. And Chicago now trails by 8.
Boy, he and Michael Sweetney have carried this Chicago offense.
Bad inbounds, and the ball goes back to Chicago. Miscommunication between Gary Payton and Dwayne Wade.
It's a pretty big sequence here. The three-pointer from Nocioni, now an extra possession, and if Chicago scores here, they're right back in it.
Wade digging in against Dang. Gordon looking for the shot. They double team him. And Gordon unleashes. Slapped out of bounds. Last touch by Miami. How about Shaquille O'Neal jumping out on Ben Gordon, which is dangerous. And Shaq, a guy who usually does not come out on perimeter shots.
It's been the theme of the night for Miami. Their defense has picked up dramatically, and that has done. How about 25 points, 4 assists? That highlight was the pre-injury Wade, but what he's done since the injury that's been so impressive, really taking over this game despite the pain. That's what makes Dwayne Wade so special, his ability to create and penetrate and play through adversity.
And on the inbounds, a holding foul on Miami. That'll be 2-shot foul. The ball had not been tossed in. Foul on Walker, his second. So 2 free throws for Andres Nocioni. Miami up by 8, just under 6 remaining in this fourth quarter. Game 5 of the best of 7 Eastern Conference opening round set. Tied at 2 apiece. Miami winning the first 2 games here at American Airlines Arena. Although Chicago came back strong in both, and the Bulls won both at the United Center. We'll have Game 6 Thursday from the Windy City.
And the fact that the games are being played with just 1 day's rest, I think certainly favors the younger Chicago Bulls, especially with Wade struggling with his injury. You know, Shaq always plays better with a couple of days rest, so Chicago has the advantage schedule-wise.
Posey, who's made it back after serving that 1-game suspension, has been instrumental in Miami taking the lead. Posey now has 9 points along with 6 rebounds. Sweetney back on the floor playing with 5 fouls. Here's Dang, who's been quiet. Nocioni and a force and draws the foul. It's charged to Walker. That is 3 on Walker. A lot of strange numbers here tonight. Neither club shooting particularly well, in particular Chicago. Can I say particular a few more times?
Sure, say it again.
And both teams struggling from three-point range.
Yeah, the Bulls haven't been able to buy a basket, but I think you have to give Miami's defense credit. We have not seen this type of energy and activity from the Heat this entire series, but they're jumping out on screen and rolls. They're making things so much more difficult for the Bulls guards. We haven't seen nearly as much penetration tonight. And Walker with the bad foul, but that was another good defensive possession. Bulls had run about 21 seconds off that shot clock and still didn't have an advantage.
Miami now leads by 6. Nice ball movement. Posey comes up short. Back comes Gordon. Miami does get back. Crowd wanted to travel. Gordon, Sweetney squeezing his way, and the foul is called. As Sweetney hit the floor, he will head to the line.
And the question is it Shaq? No, they're going to give it to Gary Payton. And the crowd heaves a collective sigh of relief.
Number 3 on Payton, Miami's third team foul. Bulls had just one.
I'll take a look at Sweeten. He comes away with the ball. He puts it on the floor, and yeah, Shaq wasn't anywhere near the play. It's like Payton may have stepped on his foot. And Sweeten continues his strong play. 16 points tonight and has not missed a free throw. 6 for 6.
Playoff career high with 16 points, 9 rebounds. Nice runner. 8 points now for Payton. Miami 79 and Chicago 73. Just under 4.5 remaining in the fourth. Iron trying to change of pace and he lost it. Had a tough time here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, remember we talked about turnovers early in the telecast. Scott Skiles said that's one of the keys tonight. 19 of them for Chicago, and that has led to this disjointed offensive performance.
Bulls with just 3 field goals the last 13 and a half minutes. But still within 6 points. O'Neal pops it back out. Here's Wade wide open for 3. Wade from downtown. What a gutsy performance for Wade, whose return was questionable when he went out late in the first half.
And a very rare three-pointer. That's his first make of the series from beyond the arc.
Miami with a 9-point lead. Walker for 3. Comes back to Walker. Again, Posey on the back tap. And it's knocked away. Last touch by Heinrich. Miami wants a timeout. The numbers on Dwayne Wade, 9 of 18. He is 9 for 10 from the line. He has 28 points.
Last 8-10 minutes, once he got that hip loosened up, you see the three-pointer there. He's got 28 on the night. And Marv, if Chicago can't come back here, they're going to look back at this game and really kick themselves. They had a wonderful opportunity with Shaq in foul trouble and Wade injured.
Well, the Bulls shooting only 36% for the night. They're down by 9. Wade with the cross court. Posey gives it right back on the hop. Wade in traffic to Posey. Yes! Been a terrific night for James Posey in all facets. Biggest lead of the game for the Heat. They're up by 12, just under 3 minutes remaining on the fourth.
Well, when the second half started, we showed the graphic of Walker and Payton and Posey and Williams and their struggles, but Antoine Walker and Posey have come up big here in the second half for the Heat.
Good play by Nocioni, but Walker retrieved and a foul. Yes, Antoine Walker came out very assertive in the third quarter, in particular with Shaq in foul trouble, Wade sideline, although he was not able to hit his free throws, but did a good job at the offensive end. And now Walker heads to the line, fouled by Nocioni, who picked up number 5. Let's go to Ernie back in our Atlanta studios.
And the Kings lead it by 3. Mark?
All right, thanks, Ernie. Miami in the midst of a 10-0 run. Sweetney rebounded by Posey as the Heat have taken command here in the fourth quarter, coming up on 2 minutes to play, and they're up by 14.
This terrific defense that's been the story of the night, forcing Sweetney there to the fadeaway, holding Chicago to just 35% shooting tonight.
Wade able to save that pass, gets it right back to Posey, over to O'Neal. Beautiful teamwork by the Heat. A 16-point Miami lead. Nocioni for 3. Shaq with the outlet. Here comes Antoine Walker. Scott Skiles wants the timeout. A very impressive effort by Miami. They're up by 18.
Game, if the Suns can win tonight, they put a lot of heat back on Los Angeles to close it out in Game 6.
Game 6 of this series taking place in Chicago. Now we have to factor in the Michael Jordan / Steve Kerr era as we take a look at that record. A technical foul was called on Andres Nocioni as Scott Skiles was calling the timeout. Gary Payton able to knock down the tee.
Well, Nocioni thought he was fouled when he released the shot, so he comes down, and total frustration for Nocioni and the Bulls. They had a golden opportunity here. They let it slip away, and the frustration boils over, and the technical for Andres.
Here's Gordon unleashing for three, and the foul on Gordon.
Now, a long night for Ben Gordon and Kirk Hinrich. You wonder if Hinrich wasn't bothered by that early foot injury. It looked like he stepped on somebody's foot as Gennaro Pargo gets set to check in. But Hinrich and Gordon, a combined 6 of 29. Remember, each of these guys came into this game averaging about 23, 24 points. So a different story here, and I think, again, credit to the Miami defense. Quicker, more alert, more energy, jumping out on screens, and you didn't see all those wide open looks like Chicago had in the first 4 games.
Send it over to Craig Sager. Craig?
With Dwayne Wade so feverishly with the injury. Since then, Miami outscored Chicago 42-18. With a game in hand, Dwayne Wade just came out and he said to Ron Culp, "Thank you very much, and by the way, happy birthday." Today is Ron Culp's 60th birthday, and the two of them went in the locker room.
All right, coming up on 1 minute to go in the fourth quarter. Scott Skiles emptying the bench as Pargo unleashes his first shot. Miami has outscored Chicago 42-18 since Dwayne Wade made his return from the hip injury midway through the third quarter. Standing ovation for the Heat as time is running out on the Bulls. And Walker stepped out of bounds. Let's check in with Ernie back in Atlanta.
All right, thank you very much, Marv. U.S. Airways Center, the site of Game 5 in that Lakers-Suns series, and they are underway. Phoenix out to an early lead. Smush Parker trying to tie, unable to. We'll take you there as soon as you're done in Miami, Marv.
All right, thank you, Ernie. Luke Schencher was just stripped and fouled as he headed to the rim with 34 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. So Miami will take a 3-2 lead on Chicago, and we'll have Game 6 right here on TNT Thursday night from the United Center in Chicago. Luke Schencher has banked in 2 free throws.
You look at this Bulls team, Marvin, and their identity is of a scrappy, hard-working team that continues to bounce back. Now, they let this get away from them in the fourth quarter, but you can believe that Kirk Hinrich and his buddies will be ready to go in Game 6. That's what they do, and that United Center crowd will be waiting for Miami as well.
Look at the numbers as this winds down. Dwayne Wade, 28 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and an inspirational effort playing hurt. Shaquille O'Neal hanging in despite the foul trouble, 16 and 10, 7 of 9 from the field. Antoine Walker, 17 points, 13 in the second half. Andres Nocioni, 23 points, 10 rebounds with Pargo. That's a 3. And Michael Sweetney, playoff career high, 16 points and 9 rebounds. But the Bulls shooting just 35%, and Miami will come away with the victory. Thanks to our producer, Scooter Bertino, director Renato Lowe, our statistician.